Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Emily with FranNet, and thank you so much for joining us today. Another really necessary, or I might say essential, business that I think is worth putting on your radar. It might be worth spending some time here to learn about this today and see if this is a business opportunity that makes sense for you. I'm here with Shauna today, and I'd like to just tell you briefly why I wanted to bring this business to your attention. First of all, here at FranNet I guess was it last week, Shauna, maybe the week before? We held our semi-annual conference and literally had one-on-one meetings I personally met with 44 different franchise representatives, Shauna being one of them, where we talked about this brand, and we got to hear exactly the latest and greatest with this brand and what's happening on a local level. So some significant features about this particular business is this is an essential service. I know that is like the phrase these last few weeks with the coronavirus pandemic. Essential service. The parent company is known for having exceptionally strong leadership, and they have a really valuable, meaningful culture among the franchisees. This business is low overhead, high margins, few employees with multiple revenue streams. Now, Shauna, I apologize if I just stole all your thunder. But Shauna, I'm going to turn this over to you. And for those listening, I'd like to introduce you to Shauna Bergstrom, who is going to talk about AdvanaClean. Shauna, it's all yours.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks so much for the opportunity to talk about AdvanaClean, and thank you to everybody who is willing to take some time to learn about one of Home Franchise Concepts brands. The objective really for me is to give you some information on AdvanaClean, really make it clear who we're looking for and who I think buys an AdvanaClean franchise and kind of sees the process through to the end. And really, an important thing is, what is this industry that we're really looking at? AdvanaClean is a high demand. It's a recession-resistant franchise, and I'm sure that you've all shown and feel pretty comfortable with the other brands with Home Franchise Concepts, including Budget Blinds, Tailored Living, and Concrete Craft. So the years of experience brands, and you can validate and support the marketing and the power of Home Franchise Concepts. And just know that we have brought that same power to AdvanaClean, and AdvanaClean is now really part of our family of brands. Some of you know, some of you may not know, we were purchased by JM Family Enterprises toward the end of July of 2019. So JM is a $17 billion privately owned company. They own Lexus and Toyota dealerships in the Southeast. They're also on Forbes 100 Best Places to Work list. And they've really just already made incredible contributions to all of our brands. So this isn't a private equity firm that has come along to fatten us up and sell us off. This is really a company that plans to own Home Franchise Concepts for a very long time. So that means that they can make decisions and investments to benefit our franchisees and the brands over a long period of time. You might have seen Extreme Makeover Home Edition on Sunday night. We sent out a lot of information on it, and that show featured all 4 of our brands. So JM actually purchased those 2 episodes specifically for our franchisees as a gift. And we're already, this week it has just been crazy. We're inundated with calls on the consumer side for our brands and also on the development side. So it will be on again this Sunday night, and again, we're planning on seeing some of that same traffic. So I'm not going to bore you with a ton of history because I don't think people really need a lot of that, but I do think that it gives you some peace of mind to know that AdvanaClean has been franchising since 2008. We have 200 territories sold. Home Franchise Concepts acquired AdvanaClean in 2019. And what we did is we actually closed off most of the leads on the brand to really fine tune it and to, kind of put it under that Home Franchise Concepts marketing umbrella and to kind of maybe shift the culture a little bit. So then JM came in, and they have made even more improvements to the brand and really continue to make improvements to the brand. We're in the process right now of building a huge regional training center in Dallas, Texas. We took over some former franchisee stores there. They're now company-owned stores, so we're able to do a lot of testing and planning in Dallas. This training center is going to be a state-of-the-art center with the ability to train on mold remediation, water damage, encapsulating crawl spaces, radon testing, and then coil and HVAC cleaning training. And it will also be a training center for all of our other brands as well. So, what are we really talking about when we're talking to prospective franchisees? We're looking at a $0.5 billion industry, really. Insurance companies, this is really what they do. First, all homes are going to have kind of water damage. So much like Emily said, this isn't one of those places where we're trying to capture people through marketing saying, hey, do you want this? It's really more, we're serving people in a time of need and in a time of crisis. And so we are specifically looking for franchisees that have kind of that serving heart. We want to make sure that we're finding people that really want to be part of their community and serve, because that really is the culture of AdvantaClean. You look at companies like ServPro and some of the others, they're really only penetrating about 5% of the market. And because they're so large, a lot of times the response time isn't as fast as it could be. So there's really room for everybody in this space. And by really sticking to the strict guidelines of each state and using approved mitigation and remediation solutions, we can really carve out our own share of this $2.5 billion industry. So, what is AdvantaClean? AdvantaClean is really a service business. So when this whole COVID-19 crisis is over, it will be the service-based businesses that come out on top. I think it's going to be like a bottle of champagne. I think it's fizzing. I think the cork's on. I think it's you can take that. The service-based franchises are going to explode. The focus for AdvantaClean is on serving the community. And so we're helping franchisees with their relationships with insurance companies. So we do focus on that side of it for our franchisees, but we've also made a point to focus on the non-insurance services that we can offer as well. We did that, for a few reasons. Yes, the insurance payouts are great, but what about the times that they're waiting to be paid for insurance? That can be 3 months, that can be even longer in some cases. So we wanted to make sure that AdvantaClean was structured in such a way that franchisees can constantly receive some kind of revenue coming in for themselves and for their crew. So we do that through mold inspection and remediation. So we're identifying mold issues, we're remediating the mold, vacuum and disinfecting, and then we actually have a third-party testing company come in and test to make sure that it was all removed. So it's not enough just to go in and dry out the water damage and make sure that everything is dry. Our franchisees are going in and actually cleaning all of this mold out and then having it tested by a third party. So in cases where it is covered by insurance, that's great. We do that. But there are going to be cases with homeowners where it is not covered by insurance. And we have a remedy and a way to do that as well. We're also working on crawl space encapsulation. So did you know that 50% of the air that we breathe comes from the basement or that space that's underneath your house? When you put this double liner underneath the house, you eliminate vapor, rot, foul odors, and then it will also address the mold issue. So any moisture that's going on under the house, they clean it all up. They put in this reinforced liner, and then it is free of mold and it cannot come back into the house. Another service line that our franchisees perform is the cleaning of the air duct. So, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but it's going to have air quality in the home. It helps with allergies or your utility bill. We think of this kind of as when you don't have a lot going on and you need to keep your crews, doing the air duct and HVAC cleaning is a nice added bonus that you can. The franchisees are loosening the contaminants with vacuums and compressed air and brushes and kind of getting it out of the and all that back up again. Also, we're doing the cleaning of coils, the blower motor on the HVAC and cooling as well. One thing that we also, there's a lot of spots in the United States that are considered hotspots for radon. It is a natural radioactive gas that can cause lung cancer. So we offer radon testing training to all of our franchisees. Not everyone does it because it's not prevalent in every state, but it is in a lot of states. So then franchisees can offer this service, testing for radon, and then they actually assist, releases the gas and actually releases out of the home.
Oh, that is scary.
I know. And my state one, I actually checked.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Now, okay, so I can't even start a conversation now because COVID-19 is the first thing written on this next slide. So I know that's what everybody wants to hear. Go,
Right.
Shauna, go.
So as the COVID-19 virus continues, Advana clean the health being of the customers and so all of our franchisees as part of their startup package are actually outfitted PPE, which is personal protective and respirator masks. So we do that for things that we need up, but in the case of COVID-19, it has proven to be crucial. Our franchisees right now are working overtime. They're working with each other. They're combining this is work, and constant contact with CDC to make sure that they have the most up-to-date cleaning products. And in some cases, they're doing mechanical cleaning of horizontal surfaces, and then they're doing cleaning of common touch points like doorknobs, computer keyboards, operational plumbing like faucets and fixtures. Then they're using an EPA approved disinfectant solution. So they're going into office buildings that have been cleared out anyway, and they're actually cleaning these spaces. And then in areas where there is known exposure or where an employer just wants it to be done, they used a fogging machine with that EPA disinfectant solution in the duct systems and in work areas. So what I see with Advana Clean is whenever there is a crisis like a hurricane or COVID-19, they really benefit from that. So we're seeing this is going to be an ongoing thing. We're franchisees on an ongoing basis, and they are adding to their crews. There are people that are out of work. They're actually bringing those people on right now in kind of a part-time situation for these contamination and disinfecting jobs that are coming up for them.
And is the franchisee, the owner of the business, are they doing any of this actual cleaning?
I would say most part, no, they're not. Ideally what we're looking at, Emily, is an executive model where we're trying to find that person who's really good at operations and run a business, and then someone who's really good at incentivizing and building a team. I'm sure we do have franchisees in certain areas that don't have the multiple crews like some franchisees, so they could be doing the work, but ultimately, no, they're kind of overseeing the crews and making sure that it's safe and making sure that they're up to date, again, on that CDC information.
Got it. Thank you.
So let's take a look kind of at, this model for Advana Clean. So by being under that home franchise concept umbrella, you consider it sits under kind of that budget blinds marketing, and it's just a beast. So we're not only helping franchisees with their local marketing, but we have a very well established national marketing campaign. So we're focusing on radio spots, commercial, home improvement, like the one we just did with HGTV. At the end of the episode on Sunday night, I actually got tears in my eyes because the development officer handed the family a check for $25,000 and also just free HVAC and mold remediation because the house actually did have mold. So
Oh,
they were able to go in and clean out under that house. And this was a family that's been giving back to their community for years. So we're constantly doing things like that. So we're looking at it from the standpoint of how do we get it out nationally? And then a big part for a lot of consumers right now is they want to be involved with companies that are giving back. So we're really making sure that as we do marketing that we're thinking of those two things all the time. You know, how do we get the name out there, but then how tie that into a form of charity, because that's what, you know, it speaks to all of us, you know, when we're doing that kind of thing. We're also going to help with IT solutions. So we're going to help with lead management, appointments, customer care. Plus, we also have a 20-hour, 7-day-a-week call center. So they're on call for our franchisees. So we're not asking our franchisees to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning for some kind of an emergency. We have a call center that is doing that. Franchisees that want to opt into, you know, emergency water services in the middle of the night, they certainly can do that. Cases though, some stuff can wait until, you know, 6 or 7 in the morning, and our call center is trained on. So we're not expecting our franchisees to be on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We offer hands-on training in mold remediation, water mitigation, the radon testing, HVAC cleaning, coil cleaning, and air duct cleaning. Every franchisee has their own marketing coach to help them with all of their marketing, and then they also have a business coach who's going to help them with their business and any kind of training or additional training that they might need. That's true for all home franchise concept brands. They always have a marketing coach and a business coach, and they always have access to regional training throughout the year. Also for all of the brands is our home run marketing. So that's kind of, you know, what I'm hinting at with the local marketing. It's the franchisee's marketing toolkit. So we're here to help franchisees with all of their pay-per-click. So staying on top of the Google search. So we're doing that through pay-per-click, but you all probably know that it's not enough for Google to see that you're paying for ads. You have to be posting to social media. You have to be responding to reviews. You have to be creating email campaigns. So we work hand in hand. That's how we stay at the top of Google, because we're looking at both of those things. So we'll do those posts. We'll respond to those reviews. Our franchisees are also able to respond as well, or post pictures to Instagram or whatever they want to do, but we're also able to do all of that for you, and then create email campaigns for our franchisees and help them with their organic marketing as well. So now the fun stuff. Initial investment for an Advana-Clean 1 territory, $69,950. You can see for 2 territories. Average 2 territories. I think people that are looking at this business generally are kind of executive model enterprise thinkers. You know, they want to scale it out quickly. They want to have a couple of crews. They want to make it, you know, a substantial business. So yeah, we absolutely would encourage that. All in for a single territory, I think you're looking at anywhere between 120 to 130,000. So how do I come up with that? I'm considering the van that you have to purchase, the trailer, 3 months of marketing, hiring a couple of people and paying for them. Some people want to have a small warehouse. We go through that with all of our candidates, what we think those costs are, and then we back out of those costs if they're looking at, you know, 1 employee or they're looking at only 1 territory. But just know that you do need some liquidity for this business. You do need to be able to invest in your crew, invest in trade, and invest in the actual vans as well. So who are we looking for? If you look at this side, we're looking at what every franchise is looking for. So I'll just try to kind of highlight what I've seen just in my experience with people that I brought through. Really goal-oriented entrepreneurs, self-starters, people that are really passionate about serving their community. So I say that because that's who they're going to validate with. So you know how it works. If they can connect to somebody who they feel really strong, you know, a strong connection with, they're much more likely to advance through and get through the whole process. So if you find people that, you know, you're hearing things like, I want to give back to my community, or I want to make a contribution, that tends to be a good fit, and it kind of goes through in validation. People that are seeking a better work-life balance, again, people that want to give back to their community. I think strong operations that know how to hire a crew and they're comfortable with that being their role. So not semi-absentee, not absentee, but certainly a franchise where you can get to that point. Team builders, people that are really, they're not necessarily saying they want this sexy business. People that are looking for a recession-resistant, need-based business, this Advanaclean is a perfect fit. So why Advanaclean? So you can show, I know you have hundreds of things that you guys can show. We have a model that's been proven over 23 years. It's recession resistant. It really speaks to the risk adverse. I will tell you, I've had people come in looking at budget blinds. For whatever reason, they feel a risk with that. I show Advanaclean. It's a need-based business. It's not a want-based business. And all of a sudden that risk kind of melts away. So even if you're talking to someone that says, oh, I really want to be in, I don't know, decorating, or I really want to be in fitness, sometimes you can throw Advanaclean in as a curveball and it kind of works out.
So if someone is listening to this and they're thinking about Advanaclean for themselves, so you're saying that someone who wants to give back to the community, maybe has a great background in operations, that is a business builder, risk averse, so someone who's ultra conservative. So Advanaclean might make sense for someone more like that.
I think it does, because I think when you're, if you know, for me, for example,
Yeah.
and I probably would not, I'm somebody who will be super comfortable with starting my own business. I've always wanted, but I am risk adverse. I look at an Advanaclean and I see that I'm not going to have to pound the pavement to find people. People are going to find, and all I have to do with the service and provide it well. That's a lot of boxes for me. It's low inventory. I mean, inventory, it's low overhead. It's not a big price point. So I consider myself risk adverse, and this speaks to me because it's need based.
Got it. When I'm thinking of all of, for those of us up in the Pacific Northwest, in Portland, Seattle, it's really wet. I was born and raised in Portland, just surrounded by mold. And Shauna, I will tell you this: I have had 3 homeowners insurance claims for broken pipes in 2 years. So when I was looking at those early pictures, oh my gosh, yeah, some flashbacks of what it's like when your house floods. And I really acknowledge what you said earlier at the beginning of the conversation. I mean, it just happened to be guys that were on the cruise that serviced my house, and they were my heroes. And they were coming in and out of my house, bringing fans over the course of weeks. And I got to know these guys. My dogs got to know these guys. And I would just laugh. I'd be like, okay, my dog doesn't bark at you anymore. Come on in, where the bathroom is, make yourself at home. Of course, they never would. They were very professional. But they were my heroes. Absolutely. And I think that's so important when you think about, as a woman, having strange men in my home. And just for it to be not something scary, but a relief to have these wonderful men in my home taking care of things that I couldn't do.
Right, and I actually had Advanaclean come into my home because the ice machine on my refrigerator, it started leaking. We didn't know, and I actually had little mushrooms growing in my pantry, which was
no.
terrifying. So not only did they come in, tear out the pantry, tear out the whole back of my kitchen and redo it, they had a subcontractor that did that. But I had that peace of mind that it wasn't just that they went in and checked the moisture levels and made sure everything was gone. They actually cleaned it. They changed the air quality in my home, because that became very important to me. For example, if a home is dusty and not well ventilated, mold grows from dust. You can have mold in your home just because it's dusty. Those kinds of things blow my mind. So I really like the Advanaclean. It's not just focusing on mitigating water. It's focusing on changing the quality of the air in your home. And I think that's huge. And I agree with you. And I think the person that would be interested in this franchise has to understand that you are going to be that person's hero. That is a big part of this franchise.
Yes.
Yeah. And it offers great scalability. Ideally we would have a franchisee that is trained on all the service lines, and then they're hiring crews who then are trained on all the service lines. So some franchisees have multiple territories and multiple crews, and that's really to, the candidate. It's up to whoever at possible. As long as we know what someone's goal is, if it's one territory and they want them and one person, right, we will work on that. If it's somebody who really wants to build it out like an enterprise, we can work with that as well.
Excellent.
And
Thank
even
you.
when when the coronavirus crisis is over, we're still going to have mold. We're still going to have water damage and moisture issues. But I really think that this is the turning of a tide for all of us. And I do think that the cleaning of public spaces is going to become the new norm. And AdvanaClean is already on top of it. They're already doing it. So it's really time to show people AdvanaClean, because the disinfecting and fogging of spaces, it's going to be a revenue stream for franchisees. It is going to be now a part of kind of who we are, along with all the other service lines. So I know for me, just in who I'm talking to, this is going to be a huge franchise for home franchise concepts. So, we would love to bring in quality franchisees that really want to build out the brand and really make a name for it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So much. A lot of great information and insights. So for those of you who are listening, and if you would like to take next steps, if you haven't already, please complete a personal franchise assessment. This is we'll call it a personality test, if you will, and it is proprietary to FranNet. And a lot of what Shauna talked about, there are certain personality types, if you will, that feel called to serve and make a difference in their communities. This is just a simple example of, we get to learn about you and you get to learn about yourself by taking this assessment, and it's going to empower all of us to see which businesses or brands, and if AdvanaClean is one of them, you might want to consider first. So it is a private, a secure link. You will get your results back in an 11-page report. Also, if you have already taken this assessment, or maybe you're not ready, you just have some questions first, please contact your local FranNet consultant. And if you don't know who that is, I've provided my contact information, and based on where you're located, I will personally introduce you to a FranNet specialist in your area, and they can help you navigate the waters of exploring entrepreneurship and franchising, or just answer any questions. We are here as a resource to you. Shauna, again, thank you so much for providing so much information, and on an essential service, also during a really sensitive time. So thank you for all that you have provided today. And for all of you listening in, I wish you the best on your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you.
Thanks.